Welcome to GNT, your one-stop shop for gaming news and whatever else we want to talk about. I'm Nick.
I'm Brandon.
And I'm Mike.
Okay, coming out this month is a Bloodborne comic book. I'm not sure when this month. They haven't said. It's called Bloodborne, The Death of Sleep. And there were a couple images from it, and I'm not sure what the story's about. I haven't played the games, but I just thought it looked really cool. There's one I think that's for the cover, and then just some of the action. The guy with the sword coming off the... I don't know if they're like zombies or what, but...
I really like the art direction. I know that Bloodborne's a notorious difficult game because it's from Software, and it's very... you learn the mechanics or you pay kind of game.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think it's as hard as Dark Souls. So visually striking, I really want to play it, but I don't know if I'm up for the punishment. You know, I don't know if I'm up for the frustration of not making progress. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, in some games you get that where you get progress and then you want to play and then you get stuck and then it's kind of like, but I think it's more of one of those games where I don't know if the progress is immediately relevant or out there. So.
They had it on PlayStation Plus. They could play for free. I think it was like November. Because I know I downloaded it, but I never played it. Cause I think that's right when we got into Overwatch, so I was playing that a lot. So I'd never even played it, but yeah. Next we have a trailer was released for Skyblivion. It's a mod. They're making Oblivion with the Skyrim engine. It's made by a modding group, TES Renewal. No release date yet. The mod will be free, but you have to own Skyrim, Oblivion, and all the DLC for it to work properly. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, to make sure you have all the DLC for it.
I think so.
Well, I like that they're covering that, and probably to get Oblivion and all the DLC, you're probably looking at probably $20 for like a Game of the Year edition or whatever. So that's not bad. Skyrim, you're probably. I don't know. You're still probably at 30 or 40 for it. I haven't looked at the price of it. So that's kind of a bummer, and I don't know. And I wonder if you have to have all the DLC for Skyrim.
I don't know.
Or if it's just all the DLC for Oblivion.
It might be just for Oblivion, because I know they're redoing the DLC for Oblivion.
Well, and the Oblivion DLC was good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what was it? One was Knights of the Nine.
There was Knights of the Nine,
and then there was the one with they went in that head.
Yeah.
He went in, there was like the crazy god.
Sheogora.
Yeah.
And he said another god was coming, but it ended up being him. He switched.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly.
Yeah.
He just did. Damn it.
But I played this too. I don't know if there was any.
There was another one where you had an old castle, and I can't remember if you. I don't know if it had to do with the Dark Brotherhood. Or vampire or something. There was a cool armor you got from it that was for stealthy users, and I remember getting it and I was like, oh, this is awesome. I really like that. I can't remember the name of the DLC though.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Look that up. But yeah, the DLC, well, at any rate, the DLC for Oblivion was strong. Oblivion was strong. So, I mean, but once again, it's hard to find the time to go back and play. I mean, with games that are such a time sink anymore, you know what I mean? It's like I moved from Destiny to Monster Hunter, and I don't know if I imagine I probably will go back to Destiny at some point, but it's kind of hard to want to do that whenever you've got a game that's as rewarding as, like, well, I say this now, we'll get into this later, about as rewarding as Monster Hunter is, but we'll talk more about that later.
Then there was an animated Super Mario movie that's been confirmed. It'll be made by the studio that made Minions, Illumination Entertainment. Miyamoto will be a producer, and the only thing they've said it's going to be released sometime before the Tokyo Olympics in 2020.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, whenever I first heard Super Mario movie, I was like, ooh, because I thought the old one.
Oh, well, nothing's going to top that.
Live action.
See, I love the live old action Super Mario Brothers
but it
movie.
being animated, I think was a better choice. But
I don't know. There's just something about that first one that was good.
Koopa.
Yeah.
Koopa. Then we have a Mario Kart Tour is being developed for mobile devices. It will launch by March of 2019 next year. Nintendo of America tweeted, "The checkered flag has been raised and the finish line is near." And by near, I guess I mean March of 2019, because that's when it's coming out. But
it's only like a year away.
yeah,
so that's
close.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think Nintendo is kind of finding a niche in the mobile market as well, which is fine. And like I said, as long as it keeps them in the game, I guess, you can't be too picky.
Yeah.
So.
EA CEO Andrew Wilson, when talking about Star Wars Battlefront 2, said, "Going forward, we believe that live services that include optional digital monetization, when done right, provide a very important element of choice that can extend and enhance the experience in our games." Basically saying, well, they've said that they're going to bring back the microtransactions, and they're going to be sticking to it. So, may have won the short battle with them. But
I don't think. I think overall that's going to bite them in the ass, and I think it's going to bite them in the ass hard, because there are games that have come out that have done it right and continue to do it right, and the problem is the next game they have come out, I think, is Battlefield, correct? That's the one that they delayed Anthem for.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
They didn't delay it. They just pushed back the launch window.
Yeah.
Not a delay, but a delay. So at any rate, I mean, once again, I think that, I don't know if that I'm sure probably there's a loud minority that hates the microtransactions, and then there's probably the silent majority that buys into them. And probably what they're saying is right now they've got to kind of qualm the minority but to continue still what they're doing, because obviously it must be making money for them. They must see the profit margin there to continue to do what they do, which is unfortunate, because it's a sucky trend that doesn't need to happen to make a game succeed. I know I was just reading an article about how Take-Two made killer profits on Grand Theft Auto and Grand Theft Auto Online, and it's partly because people are still buying the game. But yeah, the microtransactions are there, but they're not force-fed down your throat. You don't need them for progression.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of big thing. It's kind of like, you don't get an unfair advantage from having those. If you buy all the money, you still got to do a lot of stuff in Grand Theft Auto to reap the benefits of that. And in games like Star Wars Battlefront, if you spend a lot of money, you can reap the benefits of that immediately. There's not a level cap, and things aren't hidden behind a level cap to make it worthwhile, so you're giving other people the same opportunity to catch up, or not be so underpowered compared to other people at the same level. So,
right. And do you think they change anything with it, or do you think it'll be pretty much the same thing? They just took it off for a little bit and then brought it back.
I think they probably won't push them as hard. Maybe make some tweaks to the game menu so it's not so down your throat. But overall, I would say to totally revamp the microtransaction system, in that I don't think that they would waste the time and money. Yeah. I think that they, like I said, they just needed to kind of qualm the uprising, and once they did, then they put it back in place,
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, do we have any idea how many people are actually still playing?
Oh, that's the kicker, too. At this point, is it worthwhile to concede to the people that aren't even playing the game? That's true. And then take it away from the people that are still playing the game, maybe the people that were willing to spend the money. But like you said, how many people are still playing the game at this point? Is it just, they might as well put it back on there and make what they can make from it.
Salvage what they were originally intending.
I don't think there's any salvaging. I think pretty much with the way games are nowadays, if you don't have a solid release in first couple weeks, you're doomed, because you're going to get your initial sales right off the cuff. You're going to get some pretty substantial subsequent sales off the first few weeks, as long as there's no problems. And then once that, then you already have your player base established. And if you can have your player base continue to play by providing them with content or worthwhile content, that's how you make a successful game. And we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. some games can do that and some games haven't. So, but I think that they won't have any changes made. But I think at this point it's not going to hurt them to put them back on because the damage is already done.
Right.
So.
It was also announced that Black Ops 4 will be the Call of Duty for this year, so that'll be coming out, I'm sure, early November sometime.
And I enjoyed the Black Ops games, so I might take a look at this. I mean, like I said, it's all about the launch window and seeing what's out there, what's relevant, what's not relevant. I mean, there's some games that are like Borderlands 3. I mean, I don't know when we'll see it, if we'll see it. I know they say they're developing it, but I loved Borderlands 2, loved Borderlands 1. I'm waiting for this game. Hopefully I'd like to see it within the next year, but realistically...
I did just see something that they're thinking like early next year.
Well, and see that the problem is then you're going up against Anthem. Yeah. Now, Anthem is being developed by EA, so then that goes back to the whole microtransaction thing, and BioWare... It is coming off of Mass Effect Andromeda, which they bombed. So it's kind of like, okay, so now you have two companies that their last titles faltered. You know what I mean? What can we expect from Anthem? I mean, Anthem has a lot of potential, and only having one trailer and a few pictures off a Twitter, it's built quite a bit of hype. But my thing is there's so much room for error there, especially coming from those two developers, and so it's how much faith do you put in that?
Right.
If you want the helmet for your suit, you got to spend how many dollars?
Yeah, I know.
Either that or 1,000 hours.
yeah 1,000 hours,
and you can't live without it, so that's all right.
And so you fail.
Anytime you're talking about gaming, you say, in order to get that you have to spend. I just cringe. Because unfortunately that's what's happening. So
and it's becoming the norm.
Yeah.
And that's what the problem is, and that's and like I said, we're going to talk about this later, but that's what's refreshing about Monster Hunter is that it's not a pay-to-play game. They've already got all sorts of free content planned on coming out. I mean, and the game, there's lots of, from the story, which is lengthy, the story or the campaign, the main campaign, to the end game stuff, that's all lengthy, but it all has a system of progression that isn't randomized as much as other games, and it's worthwhile because you see the significant results of those gains as you are, as you're progressing your armor and stuff. You see those gains, and they are significant. Whereas like in games like Destiny 2, armor was meaningless. You could have 3 armors that have the exact same stats, they just look different. What's the fun of that? You know what I mean? Now you have this game where each armor can look different, but it brings different stats, so you can either have a set and get like a set bonus, or you can have multiple or different pieces and reap the benefits from those. I mean, it really gives the player options to be their own character, and you would think in a game that's like supposed to be like huge multiplayer, that like the Destiny, that you'd want to have that diversity, which you really don't. I mean, they really sucked it back from what Destiny 1 was, and it's kind of weird because they did a step in the right direction with like some stuff, but then they took 2 steps back on a lot of things, and then it's like the Division's got itself in a good place, but it's still not, the end game grind is still tedious compared to like Monster Hunter, and it's like I don't understand the drop rates. They really need to balance those, and they have too much randomness to the gear. So between the drop rates being low and the extreme randomness of the gear and the stats that it can have and the stats that you want, those two just make for a really long, you can be really lucky or be really unfortunate and not, and it's and so it's just tough to want to spend your time on a game where you might not be rewarded. You might not make any progress for spending an hour online. Whereas if you can get on a game and spend that time and feel like you've made progress and feel like it's, you're going where you want to go, or you see, then that's what you want in a game, and I think a lot of games are faltering in that,
Yeah.
So.
So we had the Super Bowl last weekend. A lot of trailers. I felt like we had more trailers from movies and stuff this year than before, but we had a short, more of a teaser for Infinity War, which looked awesome. A new armor that they showed Tony wearing, getting a lot of discussion. And one theory I saw, I'm not sure if I buy it or not, but they were saying, based on the picture we have here, like, his fingers stuff do look a little thin to me, so someone said, maybe he loses an arm because his hand looks weird there, which it's hard to tell in that picture, but I don't know, the fingers did look a little strange to me. Maybe it's just the way they made the armor look, but...
Is it that he actually lost a hand, or could it be just bad CGI?
Right.
Or we don't know, because
I would say it's probably not bad CGI. I would say it's either intentional and misdirection.
Could be.
Maybe.
Or it's something completely different.
Because you think of Thor Ragnarok, because when they showed the trailers for it, he had both eyes
in a lot of different scenes, and then in the end, in the actual movie, he didn't.
Right? Yeah.
Right. So I'm thinking that's misdirection. I'm thinking they could possibly. Well, you never know. I mean,
either way, I can't wait for that.
It's gonna be really good.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna be really, really good.
We had a short teaser for Solo during the Super Bowl, and then the next day they released the trailer. Overall, I mean, I'm gonna see it. There was a lot of stuff I liked. I liked the new looking Millennium Falcon. I thought that was cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
clean.
And Donald Glover as Lando. I liked. I think he's gonna do a good job doing that.
Yeah.
I wasn't totally sold on the guy they have playing Han, but he wasn't in a lot. So I mean, I'm not.
See, the more I looked at him, at first I wasn't. I was like that. But then I saw a lot of. I was reading different articles on BGR and stuff, and they had a picture for the article. And now the more I looked at him, I'm like, yeah, that looks like a good, Solo, young Solo. Yeah. So I'm excited for it. I really have high hopes for it. I just hope I'm not disappointed. I mean, it's like it can't be another episode 8, can it? Or episode 7, or maybe it can be. I don't know.
Yeah, they could go anyway with it.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
I mean, but then you have other previews like Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. That looked good.
Yeah.
And I like the Jeep commercial.
Oh yeah, that was sweet.
Jeff Goldblum.
Oh yeah.
That was the icing on the cake was after they show him in the showroom, and then it goes back to a scene where he's chasing a T-Rex along the coast. I'm like, oh, I love it. And then they had the little T-Rex skulls as the E for Jeep. I'm like, oh, that is great.
That was good. I mean, Mission Impossible Fallout, which I thought looked good.
I think that looks really good. For some reason, in these, one was the first Mission Impossible was 2 was better. It was in a way different direction. And then once you hit 3, 4, and 5 were pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Is this the 6th one? This is the 6th one.
6.
Yeah. So 3, 4, and 5 were really good. Really solid action. Just really, really pleasing all the way. So I'm excited for that. Now, this last one I didn't see. I didn't see the trailer for the Westworld, and I haven't finished. I haven't either. It's I don't know.
It wasn't a real long trailer. It was just more.
No, yeah.
They're showing some of the people and they're talking.
I didn't watch too close because I haven't finished season 1, so I didn't want to.
Yeah, I it's tough. It's tough to get into it, and I'll explain more after we talk about this next topic. So. And
we had the Cloverfield Paradox, which before we get into the movie, just the whole thing with them having the trailer and saying, "Oh, and it's being released tonight." Like, at first, I loved it. I was so pumped to go home and watch it. Like, I went home after the Super Bowl and watched it. And but looking back on it now, after seeing the movie, I'm not sure if I'm crazy about that method. Because I like a little time, maybe even just like a week, to watch a trailer and
build
up. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the times building up the hype before something is almost more satisfactory than actually doing something. Sometimes this I didn't expect it. I didn't see the trailer, but found out it was out, and I was like, oh, cool, I want to watch that. So I watched it, And I watched a review, and they'd said about how they didn't think it was really a Cloverfield, originally supposed to be a Cloverfield, and they just threw some stuff in to make it a Cloverfield movie, and I kind of agree with that, but I kind of don't.
Well, that was the case for, I mean, I think they have said that they took a script and changed it to fit it into the Cloverfield world, but they did that with 10 Cloverfield Lane, too. That was originally its own story, and then they fit it in, and with that movie, I didn't feel like that at all. I thought it fit in great. This one, it did seem a little to me like, okay, this seems like it's its own separate thing, and then at the end, they just showed a monster to make it Cloverfield, but...
No, see, I feel the opposite. If anything, I would say 10 Cloverfield Lane felt more shoehorned into the Cloverfield thing than this, because from the very start, this whole thing with doing this experiment and the possible ramifications that they talked about, and yeah, they threw that, you know, it was kind of like they could have thrown all that stuff in, like, you know, but from the very start, the place is called Cloverfield, and I know that you could have done reshoots to redo that and stuff, and but
Nicholas L.S. Cringe says hi.
Hello.
Say hi, please.
Hi, please.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, I mean, I liked it. The part, I will say, the spoiler alert, there's a part with this guy, he's looking in the mirror and his eyes do some freaky things. That freaked me out to the point where I shut it off. I was watching it Monday night, and it just was, I think just the whole atmosphere, I think, was how they did it, the music, just everything about it. And I'm like, oh, man. So I stopped watching it Monday night and finished it Tuesday night. But, yeah, that part creeped me out. And then a little bit further in, like, even after, once that scene kind of went the whole circle, it really... Like, and that's the only part where that really did that, but...
See, the only part that got me was when they found the girl in the wall, and she was, like, all in the wall, and the wires are coming out. I was like, ooh.
Yeah, well, what about the arm?
The arm? Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
really crazy. You're trying to figure out what's going on. You know, the whole movie.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So overall, like, how... It did take me a little bit to figure out what was going on. And once I figured out that, so this movie, it's in the future, but them doing that released the monsters that were in Cloverfield and in 10 Cloverfield Lane. And once I figured out that, I did like it a little more, but just as a movie, I wasn't crazy about it. Just because it seemed like a lot of the stuff, it was like, oh, I hope this doesn't happen, and then that happens. And then, like, we need to fill this room up with oxygen, as long as there's not a spark, and then the wall becomes magnetized for some reason, and there's an explosion. It's like, it just seemed really, really predictable to me, and just, I don't know.
I mean, I didn't have, like I said, I didn't have high expectations going into it.
Neither that was the thing. I did.
And overall, I would say it didn't disappoint. But, and this is going back to the ads there and why it's tough to watch some stuff. They came out with Friday. They came out with the series Altered Carbon, and wow, I watched the entire season last weekend. You want to talk about a phenomenal show? I mean, I'm talking the story, the special effects, the acting, everything, the action sequences. I mean, just phenomenal the whole way through. I mean, it was more impressive. Stranger Things hit on a lot of marks. This hit on a lot of different marks. And although I liked Stranger Things, Altered Carbon is more my style of show, and it really fired on all cylinders. I mean, just no holds bar, gore, violence, just everything, just through the roof. I mean, really, I can't recommend it enough. I was truly blown away. I had high expectations for it, and it met and exceeded those expectations. I mean, there was one part where they did a remix to a Rob Zombie song to an action sequence, and I almost shit my pants. I mean, it was just, like, things were going down, and I'm like, oh, okay. It was just already a real tough scene, like, getting you jazzed up, and then this music starts playing, and out of nowhere, you see this thing coming, and it's just like, are you kidding me? And I was just sitting there, and I'm like flipping out. And I'm like, oh! I mean, it was just great. And very rarely do you get a show that just gets you that. I mean, the John Wick movies get you that jazzed up whenever you're watching him go down. And this had some definite scenes that were like that. So,
oh, definitely have to check it out.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was. I can't. I mean, just. And I can't, and the thing that sucks now is I'll probably watch it again, but I can't wait for season 2. That's like I watch all these Netflix shows and I watch them quick, and it's like, all right, give me season 2.
Yeah, now it's a drought.
Yeah, I mean, it's bad enough. You got to wait over a year for Game of Thrones. You know, the same thing. I honestly think that the wait for, and they really left it open to another season that could go in like. It has kind of a specific direction it's going to go, but anything can happen, and which is so awesome. And it's like, I can't wait. But it's like I know that whenever you have a show that has that high of production values, it's going to take time to make season 2. You know, you don't want them to throw it together. You want them to take the same time that they did for season 1 and put it into season 2 and make it bring the same quality. And I don't think that they need to ramp it up. I think they just need to follow suit, and it'll be still phenomenal. But so good.
I'll have to watch.
Oh yeah, definitely have to. So what did you think of Cloverfield Paradox?
I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was really interesting. Like I said, it took forever to figure out what's going on. Are there creatures inside there that are doing all this? Because they kept showing like the eye cam. Like a lot of times, like it was watching them, I think, if I remember. And I like it, but it's kind of with the alternate reality, it kind of leaves it wide open, so they can do. But I don't know if they had that script from another movie and they just shoehorned that in because it has the alternate reality. And you can say anything happens.
Yeah.
Or this is a different reality. You know, did they come back when they came back? Did they come back to theirs? I assume they did.
I assume they did too, but. I don't know.
But did they come back? And I don't know if they showed that the main character's husband was with that girl. Did they show after she came back? Did they show them?
No.
Because I was wondering, did they come back the same time? Did they come back?
They came back at the same time, same reality. They definitely made that clear because he was. Spoiler alerts. He was on the phone hollering. Tell them not to come back. Tell them not to come back.
Oh, that's right.
And then it showed the pod coming down, and then it showed.
But this is supposed to explain the original
where the
but that was an earlier time than when.
No,
wasn't it?
No.
From what I understood, the first film is a different timeline, and then this is a completely different. So this happening in this timeline sent a monster to this timeline in 2008. And then they found it in the ocean and it attacked.
Oh, so it was the same reality. It sent it back to the past. So it sent the monster into their time and one back to the past.
I think it sent to a different reality.
Okay.
I think.
See, that's
I don't know.
It's like...
see, I would think that it's all happens on the same timeline. I would think that what happened was the Cloverfield and then maybe this is the paradox. I think the Cloverfield Paradox is the prequel. Cloverfield, or the original one, is what's going on in that initial. I guess you would say still happening, even during the events of Cloverfield Paradox. The Cloverfield is maybe a little scrimping of that, and then 10 Cloverfield Lane is the sequel because it's what happened after the attacks had taken place because they're fighting the creatures. That's my understanding of it, but
it just kind of, you can almost interpret it because no one knows for sure, right?
Exactly, because whenever you have different realities, and you can say whatever you want, and that's not wrong. So I'm right.
The only thing consistent is Slush Show, right?
Slush Show.
And of course, Slush Show's in everything, isn't it?
Yeah.
What, Slush Show?
Yeah, J.J. Abrams' Slush Show. He has Slush Show and everything. Star Trek. Did he have it in Star Wars?
What is Slush Show?
It's a drink. It's like a drink. Like a
So
slush drink, whatever.
So basically, there's this company that was getting this stuff from the clover monster that was in the ocean, and they like had these big health benefits. So they made a drink called Slusho and started selling it. So I think it's basically like a healthy slushy type drink that they made.
I think in the original one, like the one guy had a Slusho T-shirt, and in this one there was a Slusho bobblehead on the.
Yeah, it's just a company in that universe.
It's just something but J.J. Abrams puts it in every single one.
Now I'm going to have to look and see that.
Oh, that's what I love about this universe, is there's so many tiny little details. Like there's a Reddit page, and I'll just skim through it, and it's people. Like, one thing I didn't realize was, remember at the beginning of the movie, there was an interview with the guy saying they shouldn't be doing that thing in space.
Yeah.
His last name was the same last name as the guy in the bunker, John Goodman in 10 Cloverfield Lane. So
I saw that.
So they were saying, are they related, or is it the same person, just in a different reality? Because they're both similar, but it's like...
I wouldn't have known it if I wouldn't have seen it online.
Me neither.
You guys cheated. I didn't need to brush up on my homework here.
And the girl doing the interview was the same girl that showed up at the bunker with her face burned off.
Oh. Wow.
So
Craziness.
it's crazy.
Same actress. She's supposed to be the same person. But
wow.
I don't know.
So I love it. I love a world that you can dig as far deep into as you want, or you can just watch the movies and usually be fine. But
wow. It's craziness.
Yeah. Then we had a Venom teaser, I think released just today.
Yeah.
Just came out.
I was a little disappointed that you didn't get to see him in his suit.
Yeah, I was too.
But I think it'll be good with Tom Hardy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like Tom Hardy. Yeah, like you said, it's hard to tell from this.
Well, that's you. I thought we were playing Monster Hunter. The horn.
Oh, no.
That's
you've been playing too much.
That's a clue,
hunting
man.
horn.
That's a tip.
It's a tip.
You got hunting horn on the
All right, I can get your hint there. You don't want to tell me.
Oh, no. Just drink your Diet Pepsi. Oh, man.
We had Deadpool 2 trailer that came out.
Yeah, that was really good.
Oh, that's funny.
Cabal looks so good. He does. He looks really good. It's going to be solid.
So that's the one where he comes out and he doesn't have the... He's wearing something.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. And then the one line I liked, he was like, I forget how he says it. He's like, "You're a lot taller in," and then Cable hits him, but you say he looks a lot taller in, or as Thanos.
Oh.
Yeah. And then Terry Crews was in it. Do you see he was? And then when they're in like the plane or whatever, is the whole crew. Terry Crews is standing beside him as someone.
No.
Yeah.
Oh shit. That's gonna be.
So he's gonna be in it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing it. I'll have to look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's also May.
Yeah.
Jeez.
May's gonna be a busy month for sure. Oh, you guys are gonna be in Hawaii. You can't see it over there. Sorry. Oh no.
Oh.
The Hawaii shake.
Flush it. Okay.
All right.
Game of Thrones producers D.B. Weiss and David Benoff will be helming their own Star Wars trilogy, which is exciting. Disney now is like the Oprah of Star Wars. Like, you get a trilogy, you get a trilogy. They're giving everyone a trilogy.
And out of all people, I have the highest hopes for them to do a decent trilogy.
Yeah. Not
this episode 7 and 8 bullshit that we were force fed. Get it? Force fed. That was a pun intended. All right.
I don't know what they're gonna do, but I like to see something like Sith related, because I think with all the Game of Thrones, deceiving and backstabbing, like that's perfect for like the Sith culture.
Yeah, you do be a Sith apprentice and all the tribulations. I did this for you. I don't care.
And then you kill him.
You need to hate me so you can kill me later on.
Yeah. My name's Snoke.
Maybe they'll do Snoke's backstory.
Yeah, maybe not. That's funny. Snoke's backstory.
No one cares about that.
No one cares about Snoke.
Who's Snoke? Oh,
was he in any of the movies?
Yeah, what is it?
All right.
Disney CEO Bob Iger says they are working on a few live-action TV series for the Disney streaming service.
Well, there's some shows I won't be watching.
Yeah.
Another streaming service.
Yeah.
As much as I love Star Wars, I'm not getting this Disney streaming service.
At what point does it come too much? I mean, I can't even watch the stuff that's on Netflix and Amazon Prime Video, so
I just wait if it comes out on DVD or Blu-ray later on.
They probably won't
buy it.
Oh, they will.
They probably won't.
They're horse. They'll do it.
They'll do
I hope
it.
so,
I think they will,
for sure. Oh,
that's more money. I mean, they'll put it out there. I'm going to rush to get it.
Yeah,
The people
they know.
refusing to get the
They're like,
service.
our marketing analyst says that Mike Clark will rush to get this, so we must release it on Blu-ray
So yeah,
and
just let me
4K.
know.
Ooh, 4K.
And Star Trek too. From the Star Trek, it's on the CBS streaming service.
Yeah,
Even though it's a different subject.
you buying it?
I'll buy that. Yeah.
All right, I'll buy that for
Did they come out?
All right. I'm sure they've got the same analysis. Yes, Michael Clark will buy this.
There's 2 episodes. Oh.
Whole thing annoys me. It's like all your fans are at Netflix, but they're like, we'll just make our own. So you have to buy this too and watch it. It's like,
Doesn't work that way.
No.
Every TV show has its own streaming service. It's $10. So hopefully you don't watch too many shows.
Yeah, you won't at that price.
We've been playing Monster Hunter World a little bit.
A little bit. Great game.
Oh, yeah.
Past 2 weekends, right? Past 2 Saturdays.
Yeah.
All day. Start
This Saturday.
playing, and then before you know it, it's time to
Go to bed. Yeah, just a great game. I mean, like I was saying about the progression system, it is rewarding, and and sometimes you don't. Sometimes you'll get to a point where it's like you want the next upgrade, but you don't know what you need, the material, and then I guess that's kind of the sign that you need to press forward in the story, and then that kind of stuff unveils itself. But it's just a sense of progression, and even though there is like randomness to what parts drop off a monster, it's still at the end of the day, I need to hunt this. I need this off of it. So okay, I didn't get it the first time. You'll get it the second or third time. You'll get it, and it's not like
it's not that many parts, and they drop multiple parts every time.
Well,
so.
and they make a tool that makes it easier to get parts too, which I was telling
sure
them.
there's some always a little
The
secret.
Plunder Blade.
Ooh.
It's a Palico tool that the Palico throws, and it'll knock off parts of the creature that you're fighting, and then they're littered all over. As you increase the level, it'll continue to drop more and more items, and so pretty soon you'll just see all those little white flakes that look like snow on the ground, and you just pick up all sorts of monsters. Yeah,
No, don't eat it.
no, you don't eat it.
Okay.
You don't eat it.
Hey, that's my problem.
But yeah, and then I got another Palico tool that was pretty cool. That was from the Coral Highlands. It was for it's called I think it's called the Coral Horn, and they blow on it, and it gives you a whole bunch of different buffs. And as you level it up, then you can activate the 2 buffs before you go into the fight, and then every so often he'll trigger a new buff. You can have up to 5 buffs that are going at the same time. But it's just so cool. It's just there's so much there, and it's just, like I said, the progression, and then whenever you get in a group and you're killing something, and it really gives you, the multiplayer was a little rocky at first, but I think once you figure out the system, once you know how it works, it's not bad at all.
No.
That learning curve was there for it.
I think they've actually added some new messages in. Have you seen them? Where it says, about the cutscenes, like waiting for cutscenes to be done before you can join. And I think they've tried to fix it a little bit.
Yeah. Which I think they have. I mean, I've had no problems. I mean, we had that little hiccup the first day playing together, but since then we've had no issues, and it's
Making a squad's really nice.
Yeah.
Like if you're playing with a bunch of people, frequently, makes it a lot easier.
But it's just a lot of fun, and what I thought was funny is I thought I was at the end of the story too, and then like I said, it goes on, and I don't know how. I think I'm relatively close to the end given the context of what I'm doing now, but it's it's crazy. It's you know, now it's getting into the end game stuff where it's like, okay, now you're really gonna be tested, you know, and it's like shit, you know, it's crazy. But at the same time, it's like I'm using the stuff that I've learned up to this point, and it's not bad. Like last night, what did I have to go and kill? So last night, I think I had to go kill like a pink Rathian or something. And I remember having a hard time with the first one, that I didn't do it on my own or whatever. I'm like, screw it, I'll try it. I kicked its ass, and I've got a pretty good build right now. And then I tweaked it, and I thought I tweaked it, but I'm gonna go back to the old. I tried a couple different pieces to get another bonus, and it didn't work out the way I thought I did. But I'm working on another build that I saw online on the Reddit page, that I'll be able to help everybody with buffs. Kind of, it's deliberate, but it's kind of like as a side effect of the build. So I'm pretty anxious to get it, but I got to get some more material. I've got a couple pieces left to flesh out. I've got to upgrade my weapon and a charm more. I've got one more piece of armor to actually craft that I need for it, but, you know, and I don't even have it on my, you know, it's not even showing up on my list yet. So it's like, but I mean, just like you can set yourself goals and stuff, and it's just like cool because it's just like, okay, you just do it. You just play, and you will get the stuff. And yeah, there is some sort of randomness to it, but it's not so out of the world that it's not, you don't get rewarded. I mean, you do get your rewards. It just takes, you know, you just got to put in, you know, maybe a couple hunts to get, you know, the items you need, or 3 hunts or whatever, but you can get your goals relatively easily, you know. And so it just plays good. It's just a lot of fun.
There was one cool moment. I forget which what the name of the one we were fighting is, but I remember coming in and the monsters, whenever, you know, you're chasing around, but then when they get together, I couldn't believe it. I think it was that big fish, whatever.
Yeah.
But anyhow, the monster we were fighting, this fish came out of the water and wrapped itself around, and just so you're standing there and this big spectacle going on. It's pretty impressive.
I like the Anjanath and the dragon.
Yeah, the Wrath,
picking it up and
dropping it.
They were both firing at each other.
The problem is whenever they get together and they're like, "Hey, let's not fight. Let's just kill that jackass." What?
As long as they keep the tension on themselves, if I'm ever knocking them.
I mean, I had to fight the Rathios I fought was in the Coral Highlands, and then Legalia came in. So then they're kind of fighting each other, and then I'm also getting hit with the ice breath from the guy. I'm like, get out of here!
Yeah,
like just get out of here! I'm like, I'm trying to take care of this guy.
Isn't that gum commercial?
Yeah, icebreakers. Yeah, but. Yeah, I mean, just a lot of fun, and free content coming. I know that there's some Street Fighter content coming out that you're going to be able to get armor sets that make you look like Ryu, and then there's another female character that you'll be able to get a few days later. But I mean, it's just really good stuff, you know, and way more rewarding. At least you have, like, whenever you play, you have an idea of what you're going for, or what your possibility. Like, I started grinding for that gear, and I'm like, okay. And so then I started getting some stuff, and I started getting other, and I'm like, okay, I can get pretty much all of this. And then I got to the point where it's like, okay, no, now you've got to hunt this one creature, which I could have done last night, and then you've got to basically progress in the story. And it's like, okay, that's fine, I get it. Okay, I've kind of capped where I can be, you know, without going any further in the story. Not necessarily capped, but stopped where I can put my armor set together that I'm looking to do. So it's like, it's like, okay, move on with the story. And I can, and it's kind of cool. That kind of gives you that where you can kind of stop and grind and kind of build yourself up if you want to, or in my instance, it's okay, it's time to move on with the story. And, you know, I'm using the same armor set that I have been, but I'm ultimately building another set, you know, which I think will be pretty cool. But it's, you know, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, or at one point I was going through a story, and I think it was I think I was fighting the thing you're fighting. I forget what it's called, the Odogaron or something like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was kicking my butt, so I just went out, started grinding for armor spheres, got a bunch of them, built my armor up, went back, and then I could beat it. So.
Or another little secret is if you're having trouble with a quest, the other option you have is to search for an SOS where people are on the same quest, join in and team up with them, which I did that on the Diablo's quest. And then I farmed him a couple times last night because I needed some fangs, and so it was hard to get in a group that was doing Diablos that succeeded, at least in what I was doing with randoms. But I did. I got the 2 items I needed, and so I was happy. I was able to progress with the weapon I wanted to. But I mean, it's just a lot of fun. And like I said, that the progression's kind of transparent. You know what you need to do. You can either unlock the stuff or you need to move on with the story to get further. And then once you get so far, it's kind of like, okay, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to hunt. And it's like, okay, cool. And you do it and you have fun and you get the stuff you want and you have a sense of accomplishment. And there's still a lot there to do. And I'm excited to I'm going to try to flesh out all the swords and shields. That's what I'm going to try and get a whole set of all the N level swords and shields.
No, you only carry them all. Ching, ching, ching.
Oh, that'd be nice. There's some really cool ones. What I'm going to end up start using is actually going to go from a sword and shield to an axe and shield. So it's kind of neat, changes it up a little bit. Now the axe design I don't really care for, but aesthetically it's hit or miss with the armors anyways. But it's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited to get to do this stuff. So
and it's not as bad switching weapons as I thought it would be, because what I thought at the beginning was like, okay, I put all this stuff in this weapon, to go back and switch would really set me back, but you usually have a lot of this stuff you need to upgrade it anyway.
Well, what's funny is I had dabbled in a couple other whatever, tomato. I had tried a couple other weapons, and so I had fleshed a couple of them out, and then I went and I thought, all right, well, I've made up my mind. I played with those, and I went back to the sword and shield. I'm like, all right, it's going to be the sword and shield. So then I went back and I thought, instead of just selling those, I deconstructed them all the way back to the regular thing, and then I got all that items back.
Oh yeah.
And you will get to a point where you can't deconstruct certain stuff, which is fine. But then it's still cool that you can kind of I
think they do that maybe to help you out at the beginning, so as you're figuring out what you want.
Right.
Then when you get deeper, and they're like, all right, now we're locking you in.
Well, the reason they do that is because once you get towards the end, it's a lot of these gemstones, and so it's that your decisions are a lot more like concrete. It's like, yeah, this is what I want to go with, because you're using these items that you don't get as frequently. That they're more of a random drop. Still grindable, because I've seen some Twitch players that have a lot of the different endgame stuff, so they've really got a lot of the different materials and stuff, which is cool, that you can do that. So
yeah.
But
yep. And the only thing was, you said you stopped watching Cloverfield. It's a movie I watched the other night. I did the same thing. It's on Netflix. It's called 47 Meters Down, and it's about sharks. I don't know if you've seen it on there.
That's the one Allie likes.
Oh, is it?
I think it is.
No, she likes the other one.
Yeah, I was thinking it was the other one.
It's the other one she likes, where the girl's stuck on the buoy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The 47 meters down. Yeah.
This
where the girls get
so
stuck.
Bad.
When they get stuck?
It wasn't that. There was one part where, so they sent a guy down to rescue them, and they see a flashlight going in the water, and then it stops. So they're like, okay, we have to go swim out and see if we can get him. So the girl's swimming out, and she's staying close to the bottom floor, so there's sharks, because sharks attack from below you. So she's along the floor, and then she gets to where it drops off, and it's just like black. And she's swimming out and like can't see anything. And then the sharks come and like pass by her, and it all just freaked me out so bad. I was like, okay, that's enough. No.
Yeah, I don't blame you there. Yeah. It's just what we'll do when we go to the beach this year.
Yeah, I'll be scared now.
I've thought that, but usually when we get to the ocean, I'm like, I don't really
I'll just
think
spend
about
my
it.
time on the bottom, like you said.
Yeah, just sit on the bottom.
You got a big bamboo stick. Everything's fine down here.
That's where I went in the canoe, so man, that was the safest place to go.
Yeah, canoe.
Kayak.
Oh, man.
Anything else?
No.
Not that I can think of. Oh, I will add one thing, and this is not video game related, but hell, it's what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Well, actually, there are a couple of things. So, I was fortunate enough I was watching Twitch, and they said about the SpaceX launch and being live. And I think this is Wednesday, I think it was. I think Tuesday or Wednesday. I can't remember. So I'm like, oh, shit. Yeah. So I hurried up.
Is that the Mars thing, or is this something
Yes.
else? Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah,
so I got,
car.
yeah. So I got on, and the coolest part of that wasn't the fact that they got that son of a bitch going to Mars, was the 2 boosters that they used to launch that son of a bitch land at the same time on launch pads autonomously. I mean, coolest thing. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, okay, I'm like, oh, those are the boosters. And they both landed. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
How did they land upright, you know?
They use reverse thrusters and guidance. I mean, it's just unreal. And that is some cool stuff. And to watch it live, I mean, you're watching it and it's going, and you're watching the speed build up, and it's like, okay, it's 1,000 kilometers per hour. And then you're like, okay. And then it's like 4,000. You're like, holy shit. And then it's like 10,000. And you're like, all right, where's it going to stop? I think...
It's not.
I don't know. I can't remember.
Stop.
It was over. I want to say it was easily over 12,000 kilometers per hour.
Ludicrous speed.
Oh man, it was so cool. And watching it, that was cool. Is they had like just a timeline of how everything was going to transpire, and it did. I mean, it was like clockwork. But seeing those thrusters land, simultaneously.
So I think the space shuttle used to pop off and fall in the ocean.
Yes.
And recover them.
Yes.
Now they're just like, just refill them. They're ready to go.
Well, and they used, before they were using a longer burn but less power to slow them down, and now they figured out it's easier to do a faster or a more power and a shorter burn to bring them down. So I mean, it's real. I mean, the video is pretty amazing. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, the precision for that stuff is insane.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I just couldn't believe it. And then another thing is the release of the Galaxy S9's coming up. They're going to officially announce it on the 25th of this month. And, it's kind of funny because you watch some of these websites, and I won't point any of them out to ruffle any feathers or anything, but they play such Apple fanboys, Apple this and the iPhone X is perfect.
The Apple's
blah,
at
blah,
10
blah.
and you're only at 9.
Yeah, yeah. And then you watch that stuff and it's kind of like, well, they skipped over 9.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really count.
Doesn't count.
No. But so they kind of do this stuff, and at first they're like, oh, the S9 is going to be boring because it reuses the design. Let's not point out the fact that Apple's reused its own design for 3 years.
Yeah.
You know, but that's beside the point.
And talk about not changing it up.
Well, I mean, you get to a certain point where you can't always change the aesthetics. You know what I mean? If you're improving, like, one of the big complaints about the S8 was where the fingerprint scanner was. Okay, so they moved the fingerprint scanner, not like they should have, and then now they're adding dual cameras, and now they're doing a lot of pretty decent improvements, and it's going to be a hell of a phone. And I was actually I have the S8, and I really like the size of it, but I think I'm going to go with a 9 Plus for the new one because you actually get better performance, and that's kind of where the 9 is going to have 4 gigs of RAM and a single camera, and the 9 Plus is going to have 6 gigs of RAM and dual cameras.
Wow. And
they're already toting that on both of them. The cameras are phenomenal, but I've seen a lot of the stuff that they can do with the dual cameras, and that's why I really want to. I mean, whenever I like to take pictures, I like the phone to take good pictures, and if I can get an even better camera on the 9 Plus, well, that's probably what I'm going to go for. The size is. has me a little, but I had a note. So the size, I mean, I've gotten pretty comfortable with this being a slightly smaller phone, but I think I'll be all right with the size of the S9. I mean, or the Plus. So, but you know, it's pretty crazy to think of all the stuff that they pack into these phones. Now we've gone from where you had these desktops and stuff that were these huge units, and now you go and you have very small, compact, you know, these handheld devices that do all this stuff that, you know, multiple devices it took, you know.
Yeah.
You think about it whenever, like, GPS came out. You know, you had your GPS unit where if it was, like, that deep, you know, it was, like, that deep, that was small. You know what I mean? It had a real small screen, you know, and then you had your computers that were, and now you have a phone that encompasses all that stuff and can do all that stuff. And it's, you know, really... The changing of technology and stuff, we kind of don't very often step back and think, wow, look at what this can do, and look at where we've come from, you know, as far as all this stuff. So
6 gigs of RAM in a phone is crazy.
I don't even think that's the highest. I think there's other phones out there that have more.
Probably, I'm sure.
But you know, it's one of those things where then like Apple people say, well, their iPhone runs smoother. Well, the Apple phones run smoother because you can only get a phone through Apple, and then you're running their operating system optimized on their singular phone. So of course it's all going to work together in perfect harmony. The nice thing about the Android phones is you have that option for diversity, you know, where you can really buy a phone that fits you, whereas you have limited options in the iPhones. Okay. You have really, like, one of the big things on like an Android phone compared to an iPhone is on an iPhone you have to you pick what storage you have and you're locked into that. You know, I can fit up to a 256 gig card in my phone and take that with me. You know, just little things, and I think I mean, I've tried both. I've tried using an iPhone, and I didn't care for it. Not to say that the Android experience is any better or worse. It's just a matter of preference, you know. But it's just one of those things where
I was seeing out the other day too, and it doesn't seem like the jumps are as big because I mean we went from just having a camera on a phone to having a touch screen, and now you're getting, you know, a better touch screen, better cameras. So I mean it doesn't seem as big as it used to, just because, well, I mean, you can only go so far.
Right, you think, but
yeah,
at the end of this year, possibly beginning of next, we're looking at the release of the Galaxy X, which is going to be a foldable screen phone.
Ooh.
So, couple different theories on how that's going to be. They actually had a workable demo at CES behind closed doors. The biggest challenge they said that they're facing is two. One being the user interface, and I don't know what they mean by that, but apparently there's...
Well, I guess like if you have a hard phone and it's not going to bend or anything when you're moving your finger.
It's not hard, though. It's flexible. So
that's what I mean. Like if you put it on, it's going to go... So you can't...
Right.
I don't know exactly what it is, but...
So, well, and thus they are having issues with that. And then the second one is durability, which, you know, if you're having a flexible screen, then it's kind of soft, so it might be prone to scratches, which might be the biggest thing, is that, you know, but my thing is put a screen protector on it. But then does the screen protector not stay on there because you're unfolding it and folding it, you know? Does it lose
is it going to actually fold?
Yeah.
And then open up, and then it's all one screen.
Yeah, but it'll
the screen can bend not tight, but
like it'll be like this. It'll be like this, and you'll unfold it, and then you'll have a big screen. And then you fold it. It'll fold like a book, but that screen will wrap around here, clear to the back. Then you'll unfold it.
See, I think that'd be cool if they had kept the phone the size of the cell phones are now. But then if you could open it up and then have a tablet size screen.
Well, that's what they're aiming for.
Yeah, that would be that'd be incredible.
So I mean that's on the radar. I mean that is going to happen.
What size do you want? You want a tablet? You want a TV?
Well, LG already has that TV in a box. They unveiled that at CES.
TV in a box.
Well, it's in a box that's probably 8 inches by 8 inches, and when you're not using it, you put it down kind of like a blind, and it folds up, or rolls up into the box, right? And then you pull it back out, and then you got your TV. Wow. Foldable TV screen. So, I mean, it's crazy, but it's coming.
Yeah.
You know?
The future is now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel
crazy stuff.
I forget what it was called, but there was an AR headset, and like they're just like these glasses, and you have a thing you put on your hip. I think it's like for the battery and stuff. But I was looking at it, and I forget the name of it. I was just looking at it today, but it looks really cool. Like there's a lot of cool stuff, like looking at websites or playing games and stuff that.
Well, and then I'll really blow your mind because Intel is working on glasses, the AR glasses that just look like regular glasses, but instead of having a screen, they beam the image right into your eye with a laser.
Then I thought I saw something like that in that one Batman movie with Jim Carrey when he was scanning people's.
Yeah, but this is, I mean, and right now with the prototype that they have, they're aiming at 18 hours of battery life, and it just looks like a regular set of glasses.
Huh.
With the not having the screen, with able to do that with that laser or however it projects it. It saves the battery power and processor power that they can afford to have 18 hours of. But I mean, how cool would that be to be wearing a pair of glasses? And I mean, wow, obviously you could be not paying attention and doing your job.
They could beam anything they want into your brain.
Yeah, well,
and it gives you 20/20 vision. I know it's done.
Crazy times. I mean, some really crazy stuff coming out. So
yep,
it's good times.
Exciting. All right, well, thanks for watching. As always, check out our YouTube channel. You can subscribe, and so you won't miss a thing. And we'll see you next time.
You didn't even see me.